My name is Major Dusty Cook. I was on the Blue Angels from 2014 and 2015, so I did two seasons there in the Fat Albert shop, one of the Fat Albert pilots. I actually moved here in the summer of 2013 and went to aviation safety officer course before I started to show up with the team and do my khaki newbie training, and then got right into the fold. Became M3, the junior C-130 pilot in 2014, and after that hit the ground running, had a good time. I originally hail from East Bernard, Texas. It's about an hour southwest of Houston, and had a passion for aviation in a small town that had nothing to really offer as far as aviation went. So I ended up going to Texas A&M after I left there after high school, and I kind of found my way after that, after seeing how Aggies really serve their community and the bigger picture type of thing. I realized that I wanted to serve, and then after the events of September 11th, I realized that there's an opportunity for me to go do this, and I ended up kind of shopping around, and I found the Marine Corps would be a good choice for me, and they offered me an aviation contract. From there in 2004 I joined, and then I hit the ground running, and I've been to places like Okinawa, Japan for 3 years. I've been to the east coast of North Carolina at Camp Lejeune and Cherry Point as well. I've deployed multiple times, and actually put in my package for the team in 2012 while I was in Afghanistan on my second deployment, on my flying tour there, and was fortunate enough to fly out of theater, land in Naples, get a phone call that I'd be a finalist, and then while I was on post-deployment leave, I ended up meeting the team and hanging out with them, and one of the greatest job interviews that I've ever had. And fortunate enough that I got selected. I got the lucky phone call after I think boss and the team at the time had realized that I was, an Aggie, and we had just moved to the SEC, so he definitely started pulling my leg about not making the team, and hopefully the Aggies can do well in the SEC and things like this. And then eventually they told me welcome to the team, and moved here and had a great time, and now I'm on my way back to North Carolina to do another ground tour. So the C-130 itself is, we always say it's the workhorse of the Corps, or even the workhorse of the Blue Angels, Fat Albert is, and that's because we do kind of assault support and lift. We are like the logistic, the belly button. Everything's got to really come through us to get the team to a location, get all the parts to a location, and being the mindset that we have in the Marine Corps is we're always there to help. We're never the main effort, which is really good. And nobody needs to be really the main effort. We need to focus on something else, and so and everybody needs a lift. You always need to move stuff from point A to point B, and our mindset that we have in the Marine Corps to support the mission, usually it's the Marine Rifle Squad. Well, I never really directly support those 8 to 12 Marines that are on the ground. It's always been like, I need to give you stuff and give it to somebody else so they can give it to the main effort. So going back, we have 3 active duty squadrons in the Marine Corps. They usually have about 12 planes apiece, so it's not many assets. And then we have 2 reserve units that have the same number of airplanes. So it's a very small community. We focus on, like I said, the lift, assault support. Aero refueling is a big thing that we do. That's our bread and butter. We actually, give jets or tactical airplanes or even helicopters a tilt rotor that greater time on station or extend their range, so they can provide CAS or then end up moving Marines in the zone or supplies. Then we also added very recently close air support. So now, back in 2011, I was able to directly influence and help the Marines on the ground by providing close air support. So that's some little feather we could put in our hat that we did a really good job at. And so now we take that mindset of always helping, always pushing, and making the goal happen. We have the opportunity to come here to the team. We have a C-130 and we have Fat Albert here. So now we can take some of our fleet maneuvers that we do, which we call low altitude tactics, LAT. We end up coming here, get to represent not only the Navy but the Marine Corps as well. Put the Marine Corps' message out there. We get to kind of stretch our legs and do some super lat, as we call it. So most of our altitudes are about 300 feet and a little higher. Here we're down to 50 feet, and we're doing some really cool stuff, a lot of dynamic flying. So it'll make you a better pilot being here, a better visual pilot, a better VFR pilot if you want. You're going to feel the airplane a lot more. Bert is just an amazing airplane, but it's not really just about the flying part. It's also about solving that piece of how do we get the team to hear, oh, that airport can't support our weight, and just trying to not necessarily like just making the mission happen, but also teaching people too, like how they can use assault support like a C-130, and then that way when they leave the team, if they're still operational or even in, you know, regular day-to-day activities, about thinking, forward thinking, you know, planning ahead. We want to do that too. We want to teach people how to use assets like ours, and then give them that mindset and let them, you know, move out of here with it. So that's kind of like what we did in a nutshell. We really support the team. We're kind of the lifeline to make things happen. If that's just to get the 30,000 pounds of cargo, which is, you know, consumable parts and repairables, and then about 40 Marines and sailors to a show site, set it up, get the jets there, turn them, start practicing, and then we have the shows too, and then get everybody safely home. And then in the middle of that, we get to have a little bit of fun too, and we get to, you know, fly bird around some really cool places in front of crowds. So that's really what we do. We have show lines that we have to fly, and a 500-foot line and things like that. Like the FAA gives us our guidelines where we're able to fly. Well, those are all straight lines, and that's all perfect world. And you don't want to go inside those lines because of safety. You know, directing energy at the crowd is not you know, allowed. So there are some times though where nobody can control life. People are going to show up wherever they're going to show up. And places like Annapolis, where it's a water show, it's a remote show, we have the show box itself where you're allowed to do aerobatic maneuvers, and you know, that box is clear, but there's like boats right on the other side of it. So being able to you know, dump the nose, and people get a lot of good pictures on you when they're on their boats having a good time, having a couple cocktails, and they see this big airplane pointing straight at them. And then you get down to your set, right as you get into the show box. People have gotten some really awesome videos of us being pretty low and pretty fast, and you know, boat masts are pretty high, so you got to avoid those. But I think those are some of the impressions. People really, like, you can hear the laughter and the excitement and the kind of fun, like they're just having a great time. And that's some of the things that I've done, and I remember, and I get to see. The weird part is, like, hey, you're flying, but you don't get to see anything. You're in the middle of it, so you don't really get the feedback, positive or negative, until it's already over, and you may go online and you see somebody has a recording like that. So being able to see that, and then you may know the people. I ended up meeting a couple at a bar. They were from Maryland, and it was McGarvey's Bar there in Annapolis, and they showed me the video, and I thought it was awesome, and they were having such a good time, and they were just thrilled. They were still thrilled, and the show had been over for like, you know, 6 hours. So there are too many to count, and there are some days that are it's excitement from the crowd. It's things that you've done for them. And then there are other days where you had just a really good show, a solid show. And then there are other days, the last time, so my M1 year was this year, so I got to be the instructor. And being able to teach 2 new pilots, to teach Katie and Fireball how to fly. And then Katie being the first female pilot, so she really wanted to be perfect, and trying to get her taught and caged, ready to go. And she had that first show in El Centro, and when the show is over and she landed, like, me and the whole crew looked at each other like, whoa, dude, she just did that. Like, it was good. It was almost a perfect show. I mean, it might have been perfect. I don't remember. I just remember how excited I was for her, and she was just like shaking, so nervous, and just happy that she did that. So, you know, for the crowd, for us, sometimes good maneuvers of us flying, and then for me, being able to leave the team in capable hands and train them properly, that now they can go on and make their own decisions. It's kind of, you know, you're a parent, you know, you're like, all right, you got it, you're on your own, and they've been doing great. So the Navy operates the way they do, and the Marine Corps operates the way we do. We're very headstrong, stubborn sometimes, because we believe we're right. It was a good chance to come back here, because if you rewind, the bird shop's been around since the 70s. When they added Marines to this team, there was a lot of headbutting from what like the stories of, there are just some days where you just walk downstairs and next thing you know, there's just a fight. You know, there's a lot of, I mean, if it's literally butting heads, like with your fists. So from where that point to where we are now, and the complete integration that we've brought to the team, night and day difference. We're fully integrated. The bird shop is, I mean, it's just a shop. It's just like having your admin shop or things like that. We have a specific duty, but we're here for the common goal to make sure that the team is supported. It may not be just with our airplane. Sometimes that airplane goes down. You only have one asset. So we bring a lot of a lot of experience and expertise of just support, like we were talking about, where, you know, we are not the main effort. We're here to support the main effort and make sure the mission is accomplished. So that mentality that the Corps has instilled in us, we take that here. And we end up kind of thinking outside the box, a little unorthodox, some of our ways of supporting the team, but that's what we do. And that's one of the good things that we bring to the team. And it all goes back to our basic philosophy. Every Marine is here, you know, every Marine's a rifleman, and every Marine is here to support the Marine Rifle Squad. Like, they are the main effort. So doing that and then being in combat and realizing what's a priority, you know, does that really make sense? Like, do I need to get, you know, spooled up because, you know, we have 2 separate hotels where the teams live in and stuff like, no, I don't need to worry about that. I just need to calm down and figure out, like, is there a logistical problem? Is the team still going to get supported? And then just after that, I don't really care. Let's keep moving forward. So that mentality we bring from the Marine Corps, from combat, here, we try to instill that. It's not the same. It's not a combat unit, but we still want to be professional and we still want to get things done right. So we bring that, and at the same time, we get that different flavor and different experiences and different, you know, like I said, the Navy does things a little differently. But we get to kind of see that, learn why, and if it's something good, maybe we can take it from them and then implement it where we go, and where we, you know, we move on and go to other units, maybe we can take some of that stuff. I've learned a lot of good lessons. Some of them came from the Navy, like big picture items that are down to every single squadron, but I've never heard of them because we're just really 2 services that work in the same department. I'm gonna take a lot of those things back with me because it was good business. And you look and see the kind of breakneck pace that we're always, you know, gone 300 days a year, we're always training, we're always working. It's a fine-tuned, it's a well-oiled machine. So I'm gonna take some of those ideas and those techniques back with me and see if I can implement them if appropriate. So still 2 different services, but, you know, we come together, focus on the goal, we get that done, and then at the same time we still get to rib each other every once in a while. You know, the Navy and Marine Corps team, we still have a little bit of fun harassing each other, really. The interaction with the public's been great. That's it. That's the big bread and butter. So in my career, like the fork in the road where it was, do I apply for the team or do I not? I could be, you know, tactical master ninja, whatever, flying the C-130 and doing good things, helping to keep our programs going for the C-130 or wherever as a forward air controller or whatnot, just make the Corps better. Or there's a different opportunity where I get to interact with the public more. I get to give the Marine Corps' ideas and philosophy and then actually kind of market that in a way to the public. And I get to go back and say, like, hey, look at where I'm from. There's 1,200 people in my town. You know, you're in a big city right now, or you're in Fargo, North Dakota for an air show, but people come from all over to come see the show, and usually it's at a hub of, you know, a metropolis, if you will. So they don't think they can actually do things like this, especially little kids. Like, it's like, you know, winning Powerball, right? You know, the odds are astronomical. Well, they view it like that, especially being a Blue Angel, but they don't realize that, hey, we're all normal people. Like, here's where I came from. I get to connect with them and say, hey, if you want to do this, you could totally do it. But at the same time, like, find your own passion. If this is it, awesome. You know, here's how I did it, so maybe you can do the same thing. And if not, like, find out what you're really good at and what you love doing. You can do that, that's fine. And then just keep giving them a positive reinforcement of, like, hey, things can happen for good, so keep working hard at it. So the interaction I've had with people has just been great. And the good part is it's not fake, you know? Like, we're not out there just shaking hands and, like, you know, you sign somebody's autograph and they walk off, and they may have brought another sheet back for, like, their brother or sister or mom or dad, like another present, and they come back and they're, like, shocked, like, hey, I know, yeah, like, did you forget something? Like, I'll sign it up. Do you need more? And oh my God, you know, he remembered me. Like, that's amazing. It's like, no, it's not. It's fun. Like, we are here to meet you. We're here to be on crowd line. It's like protective measures, really, and like crowd control, but I'd love to get rid of the fence and just start walking in and just shaking everybody's hand, and I don't have, you know, there's not enough time in the day to do all that, but that's been one of the more fun parts, just the lasting relationships. And like social media has allowed us to continue those relationships, and just because I'm off the team, they won't see me, you know, every weekend or whatever they do to go to shows, but it doesn't matter. They're still we're still interacting. Like as I am with them, they may own a business and things like this. That, you know, maybe one day I'll come to your coffee shop or whatever. You know, a guy, retired Marine, he owns a coffee shop in South Carolina, loves motorcycles, and I'm gonna go like, hey, I told you I'd stop by, so I'm just gonna say hi. So doing stuff like that, that's the rewarding part. It's kind of full circle after that. You see, everybody talks about pride and professionalism, you know, representing the Navy and Marine Corps, aviation, and things like that. But again, it's to the average public, you know, that's watching, or the child that wants to be a pilot or anything like that. That go learn about who's on the team, and the team rotates. Like, this is not our profession. We only do this for 2 or 3 years, and we're you know, pulling tracks going somewhere else. And we all have our own story, and odds are they're probably a lot like mine. That you know, I never saw an airplane like other than commercial flight, and then one day I see this orange and white trainer fly by really low, and I was out in a pasture. I wanted to know what that was, so I started to do more research. I started to, you know, figure out what it was and what it was doing there, and then how do I actually be a part of that. So everybody has a story, and if they want to do something like this, it's completely feasible. So don't get deterred. So we're all human, we make mistakes, we still get to do something cool, and you can do it too. That's what I'd like to kind of show them.